Hello. I want to share with you some of my reasons for why I decided to start a YouTube channel. It was not an easy steps. It was not an easy process for me because it took me about 4 months of looking into a lot of content creators on the internet, on YouTube, on why they started their own YouTube. And some people started it because it's a business to them. Other people started for whatever reasons they want to. And for me, when I first was introduced to YouTube, I thought this would be a place where you have to have a big ego to talk and to stand to take a video and talk to people. And I didn't think that would last me because I saw a very short window for subjects that would be interested and interesting to me. So after listening for 3 months and 4 months, I didn't have a problem with topics because I began to realize that the YouTube is really about you having a chance to share with the world your experience, life lessons learned, and how to adjust and realign. Because those seem to me to be the priorities that I was looking at and how I wanted to see this. Because it brought me back to my time when I was in my 20s, 30s, and 40s, where I was a producer and president of an entertainment company in Hawaii. And my entertainment company had to do with, I produced Polynesian shows with history of the islands and music that is significantly from the islands to entertain people. But then when we started having a groove of going from one place to another where people appreciate what we were doing, I realized we needed a more stable, permanent platform where our productions are put on display for many people to come and enjoy the value that we bring to the marketplace. The truth is, if you have the best productions and you have a lousy platform or small platform, not many people will enjoy it and appreciate, let alone how you maintain and sustain to go on. So I decided I was just gonna go and it's a different feel from where I was. I was in the missionary Christian ministry level. So I decided I was just gonna go and break the mold. So I went into the hotel industry, talked to hotel managers, and that's another whole lessons learned in that, because it was a totally different world than what I used to do, talking to churches and people. But in the hotel industry, they were looking for values that has some questionable issues, and I'll talk about that later on in another video. But I went there and decided I was just going to talk to the hotel managers regarding what we bring to the hotel. They said, why are you different than what we have now? I said, well, tell me about the work habits of people that you have entertaining in your hotel. And it was a mess. A lot of people have issues with drugs, issues with that. I said to the hotel manager, what if I can give you a better service quality-wise and I take your headache away? That told him. So he said to me, let's talk. So we talked, and that became my platform that I started utilizing for what I was producing and what I was spending most of my time developing. And when I heard about YouTube and heard these two trainers, Alexa Sojana and Kevin Colby, they have their own technical approach to this. And I was not interested in the technical side because I have no technical side outside of just turning the camera and talk. So you will see some of my mistakes in between take and all of that because I don't know yet to edit. So I will learn that as I go, because I have trainers and people who are mentoring on YouTube to show us ways, and it's a very friendly platform. But it's also a platform where a lot of people can be confused between the difference between having something to say and what to say. Because I learned and heard of this term. It's a place where you can realign, recalibrate what happened in your life, because your life is a gift, and a gift is always given with the ability to make right choices and experience wonderful things, and make wrong choices which you experience setbacks and defeat. And most of the time it's the defeat. When you get older, the defeat become magnified, and so the lessons learned are the lessons in retreat and defeat, but therefore there's no place to realign back to when those victories were won. And so when I heard that term, I realized this is something that I want to do. And I was very excited about it because I made quite a few mistakes in my life. And when I realized it's true, because I used to teach the same principles. Your lessons, the biggest lessons in life are learned during your mistakes. And yet there was a time in my life, as I get older, you begin to limit the amount of mistakes because you don't want to face the challenge that come during times of mistake. So when I learned that, I realized I have a lot to offer to YouTube, or through YouTube as a platform. And I not only know that this is where I need to start and need to do this again. I'm 73 years old, double amputee, and have heart issues. And yet, on the physical side, it's hard for me to walk around and go different places because I don't have the same abilities, but on YouTube, I'm able to recalibrate, realign, and those are two different biggest processes that I think a lot of people make a mistake of not having to go through. Because when we remember mistakes, most people, I have met more people who are older and angry with life, angry with their spouses, angry with their exes, angry with people who did them wrong. And yet, all of those mistakes were places where we could self-correct, adjust, and then realign. And the realignment is the hardest part because, it's more mental, because you're going through all of these memories, and instead of turning the memories into a blacklist, you turn the memories into a brighter list, because instead of looking at the mistakes, you're looking to the lessons and the improvement required and needed. And I am an absolute student of this. If you experience victory before, you can experience it again. Once you experience victory, you know how to get it. And then if you learn your lessons well, then you can go back and repeat that victory over and over and over and over again. So that's why I'm going through the extent of telling you that, is because this is where I am going to spend the next 5, 10, 15 years of my life doing, because I love the opportunity to be able to share with you some of the lessons I learned in life, some of my big mistakes, and how they turn into the greater lessons of life. And it makes you become a positive person, makes you take the attitude of I am always me, I am bad, always me, I am always, I don't see any good thing from people. And there are people who become expert today in life, telling people what not to do, because they have not learned the lessons of the choices and the mistakes, and the lessons learned to adjust the choices and the mistakes of the past. So YouTube is a very good channel, a very good vehicle. I remember when in my 20s and 30s and 40s, I was a president and a producer of a good production company, entertainment company in the state of Hawaii. And we were working primarily with church institutions and ministry related areas. And every time they have a special event, they would hire us to come and do the program for them. But that was not consistent. And it was not always a consistent platform where what we were producing in terms of value and presentation did not have the exposure to more people. When I found out about YouTube and I realized through these two trainers how they have learned their lessons, and you is you being the star of the show, and Tube is television. So it was an awakening for me that took me from just a spectator to a person who I began to realize this is for me. So I'm committed, and I'm going to be here long term. This is Soseni Leao. This channel is meant to be a place where I share with you some of the lessons learned from those days of victories and some of the big lessons learned from some of my own big bloopers in life. And when you realize that YouTube is full of people who are coming to find answers for themselves, what better way to be able to share some of your victories, some of your concerns, some of the values that you learn from life, than to have it as your own presentation. This is what happened to me. This is what happened. This is how I made the choice. All of that is all valuable. Nothing is lost. So that was my experience and why I came to this place where I realized I need to do a YouTube channel. So you can count on me being here if you like or have an experience of some values given to you through this channel. Please like, describe, and share with your friends so this video can be released to more people. And the main thing is the word realignment. You realign your emotional state, your mental state to where you were, because if you were there before, you can revisit it again. Once we experience victory, we know the choices required to get to that victory. We also experience defeat. We know that the choices and the steps we took to make those mistakes. And those mistakes gave us the biggest lessons of life. And that's what everybody on YouTube is looking for to gain from coming to visit you. So that come back, and I promise you that's what I will do on this YouTube channel, is to be someone that will share with you some of real lessons, because the realigning process requires a lot of mental state, emotional state, to be realigned to what it was like when you were non-stoppable. And we were all there once, and having to learn the lessons of what stopped that place of victory in our lives, and learn the lessons of what we won't do again. And if we were to train ourselves again and go back and recorrect, we can do it again, because we know the steps required and we know what is needed and necessary to get to the top of the mountain back then. And one of the things that I really liked in doing this is the idea that I have met so many people who live life long enough where they are bitter and angry about life. They have made, unfortunately, some mistakes. And those mistakes they have learned lessons from, but they don't look at the lessons learned. And if they have learned the lessons, those lessons were totally forgotten, because we're overwhelmed by the mistakes of the past. And sometimes if we're not careful, we can stay there and become bitter. But I think YouTube will see a better tomorrow for the world, because we will find a lot of people who are going to YouTube saying, hey, if I come and listen to you on a personal level, will you help me in some of these issues that I'm struggling in? Like me, when I went for the last 4 months and looked at some of the the two content creators that I encourage for you, if you are considering or on the brink of making a decision, are a lady named Alexa Sojourner, Soorjena, and Kevin Colby. They are professional in their mentoring process. They have content, and they will walk you step by step. This is where I learned the lessons of alignment, and that was tough in the beginning when I had that, because I realized I have been so far away on many of these issues that I'm talking to you about during the years of living. I was heavily engaged for 28 years on that life and experienced victories and all kinds of great things around the world. And then since then, I have watched from the sideline life as life goes on. I don't want you to be in that place. I want you to be in the place where life becomes a building block for you to have a new zest for living. And so come back and watch. And I hope throughout the, I have a video library on my YouTube that you can check out some of the videos there that could help in where you and what you are looking for at this time. In the meantime, this is Sosenile Ao saying thank you for stopping by. Hope to see you again. Bye bye for now.